Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tansson Talks TV. I'm Brandon, and of course, I'm joined once again by Mom.
Hi.
And I know we are excited to go into today's episode that we will be going through. We're continuing on our trend of doing the first episodes of TV shows, and today, from Lionsgate Television, we are doing Home Economics, Episode 1, Pilot. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. What about you?
I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, and so actually, before we go ahead with the synopsis, I did actually want us to go ahead and start a little bit about what we know about the show. So I would say that for us, that we've for the most part seen the show.
Yep, we have seen the show. We've watched for the most part the majority of the episodes of the shows.
Yeah, and this one is, I think, for me, a personal favorite, and I've just really enjoyed the show. And so right now they have finished their third season with hopefully more episodes to come, but we'll see. But yeah, are you ready to get into this?
I sure am.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and allow for you to go ahead and start us off with our summary.
Okay, like Brandon said, this is the premiere episode that we're going to discuss today. The premiere episode occurred in 2021, and it is about just a family of three children. Characters Sarah, who is the middle child, Connor the youngest, and Tom the oldest child. Tom is the main character for the most part, at least for this episode. And he is currently writing a book about his family. However, his family is not aware that he's writing a book. And so all the conversations that he has, he's kind of relating it a little bit back to the book that he's writing. But this episode occurs a little after the pandemic, as Brandon kind of pointed out to me that I didn't realize. They very slightly mentioned the pandemic a little bit in regards to why they have not seen each other in close to a year. And so the family meets up at Connor's house, who is the youngest brother. And Connor has a lot of money, and he's happy to share at the same time, but he does have a lot of money, and it's very obvious that he has a lot of money. He has a child and a wife. And so they all meet at his house, and then they just kind of come together, realizing that they all have different hardships going on in their life at this particular time. The parents are also introduced very briefly in this episode, so you can kind of see how all five of them kind of bond together.
Yeah, I think that's just such a great summary. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and yeah. Oh, what were you about to say something?
Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, I've really liked for this episode. I mean, really how it came about, how it was presented, and you mentioned Tom, of course, being the main character. Is that he's also the narrator of the series as well.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and something I always say about first episodes, I'm sure we'll touch across this theme, throughout shows, especially pilot episodes, is I always feel like in some way, shape, or form, there's always random exposition that's randomly told to the audience in some way or form. In this case, it happens to be Tom's narration of himself, which is actually just him sort of proofreading his book as he writes it out loud.
It is, and it does help because it sets the scene. They do a really good job of having this in this one episode itself, explaining the lives of each of the three kids and what they're doing, and then also at the same time, even though the parents are only a snippet, you know that they're both retired and they like the idea of travel.
Yeah, that is so true. And of course, for at least two of the free spouses, we get to meet them as well.
Yes, we do, we do.
Yeah, and so are you able to let all of us know you know, about what we find out throughout this episode?
Well, we find out that Tom, even though he's an author, his last book did not do as well. And so I think he said he sold roughly about five copies or something like that. And even his brother has not read further than the first 2 to 3 pages of the book that he wrote. And so he needs a little bit of money. So he's prepared to ask his brother for or to loan money to him. His sister, on the other hand, she has just recently lost her job, and so she and then her spouse. Well, I don't think they're married, but she and her girlfriend they are also asking if they need money too because even though Denise, the girlfriend, has a job, Sarah, the sister, does not. And then Connor, we do know it. Like I said, he has money. However, we find out that even he has a daughter, but his wife seems to be missing, and we find out later that his wife is that they are somewhat separated at this time.
Yeah, and so I know you know for the siblings that this all comes as a big shocker because they presume that the others have everything they could have ever wanted in their life. And to answer your question, Sarah and Denise are indeed married.
Okay, right. All right, I just couldn't remember that part.
But yeah, but overall, I think this episode just does such a great job with not only introducing you to the show, but also to the different dynamics between different characters. And we even see the in-law, the sort of in-law chat of how we have Tom's wife Marina and and Sarah's wife Denise, sort of having their own bond too.
Yes, we do. We get to see that, and that is explored much later in the series, also.
Yeah, and what I like, in addition to all this, is that even though the children aren't necessarily the focus of both this episode or the series, is that you at least do get to see sort of their personalities like displayed a bit as well, like here and there throughout the episode.
Yep, and they do a good job of doing that.
Yeah, and so is there anything else that like stood out to you in this episode, or or anything that you'd like to highlight that, I guess that came out to you during this episode, or or anything that you like about the series for that matter?
I just like the family bond that they had. I thought that was really great. I thought it was great when they introduced it, and then the bond does continue throughout the series.
Yeah, I personally love that, but something to me I think that stood out, especially as someone who, definitely gets very amused by physical comedy, is the fact that Tom, when attempting to, you know, ask for money, that he's a bit clumsy, and so manages to fall over in the process of doing that, and so I definitely think that's a personal highlight.
It was a personal highlight. Both you and I both did laugh pretty hard on that one. So yeah.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, yeah. So, what are your thoughts overall, like in terms of the episode? Is this a show that, even though we did continue watching it, watching this again, would you have continued watching at this point?
I would have. And I think it answered some questions that I just didn't realize that I had. And so it was really nice going back and rewatching this particular episode.
Yeah, I think this is so fun. Like early on in the series, well, our Tansson Talks TV series,
Mm-hmm.
to go through episodes of shows that we're currently watching,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot that you forget as as the series progresses. Because a lot of times, we're just watching episodes as they come on TV, but not necessarily going back. So
Mm-hmm.
this is fun to sort of be able to do that.
It is. And I look forward to as we go back and forth between different types of episodes, whether not comedies or dramedies or even some of the not criminal minds, but some of the other shows that we watch. So I look forward to speaking about the other episodes.
Yeah, that is so true. Well, like I said, this is so enjoyable, and I can't wait for us to continue doing this, throughout the next several weeks, and and let's see how far we can get with this.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, well, for those of you watching, thank you all so much for tuning in. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Take
All right,
care.
bye bye.